Thank you very much. Agenda approval. Councilman Jacoby, you said you had something to add to the agenda?
Yeah, just one fairly large and one small. You're gonna have, introduce a possible solar moratorium.
Okay.
When they get to me, we'll talk that over. And also, just some little comment on that, ghost walk from Arbor Orchard.
Okay. Tom Seaman, anything to add to the agenda?
No, I don't have anything to add to the agenda.
Okay. Motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Resident statements. Linda Carlson.
Could I request that we make sure to use the mic since we're
Okay.
not officially filming here? Thank you.
Can you hear that?
No,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Is it?
They just want her to use it.
Okay.
what's the status of the fence at 439 Kenwood?
Tim?
I met with Pasquale's last Thursday, because we've had them in court for several months now. And they have applied for a variance to keep the fence at the height that it is right now.
Do we have to approve that?
You will be invited to that meeting. It'll be on November 7th.
What if we just approve that?
That's up to the ZBA.
Up to who?
Zoning Board of Appeals.
Why would they allow a 7.5-foot fence?
Well, you gotta go to the meeting for the zoning board of
You
appeals.
know what? Everybody on this board should lose their job.
No, not true.
Yes, it is true.
No.
Money talks in this town.
Evelyn Lauer.
I recently commented to Supervisor Broderick that I don't know much about town government, and I'll be the first to agree that that's true. So I did some research, and I came across a document called the Town of Lewiston Comprehensive Plan Update, which was adopted at the town board work session on March 14, 2011. In this document, I read how the town of Lewiston has an excellent quality of life for residents and that attractive neighborhoods, historic character, large areas of open space, and working farms and scenic vistas make the town an appealing location. High-quality standards and design excellence results in development that preserves and enhances the rural character of the community. The heritage of Lewiston is respected, and new development is compatible with the existing community fabric. Growth is directed to areas where there are existing utilities and roadways to serve it, and more rural areas are designated for agricultural and open space uses. The community's vision is to maintain this essential blend by promoting agriculture on the productive soils to the east. In general, the eastern sector of the town is identified as rural agricultural in character. Development in the eastern portion of the town, generally east of Corner Center Road, should strive to maintain that rural atmosphere. Agriculture and rural residence use are preferred over commercial uses. Isn't a utility-grade solar facility in essence a commercial use? It seems to me that putting an industrial solar facility in our rural community on Williams Road is a direct contradiction of what was stated in the adopted comprehensive plan update. According to the New York State Division of Government Services, adoption of a comprehensive plan under the current state zoning enabling provisions is voluntary. If a city, town, or village chooses to utilize the process, the resulting plan may range from a set of policy or vision statements to a very lengthy document composed of many subject-specific component plans. Once an actual plan is adopted, however, all land use regulations must be in accordance with it. Doesn't that mean that the town has to abide by its adopted policies? And wouldn't that preclude installing an industrial-grade solar facility in this residential area? Could the board please comment on this?
Thank you.
Nice job.
Yes. Brian Scully.
Good evening. Brian Scully, 1822 Swan Road. Before I hand these out, I was just hoping to get an answer. Last time we met, we asked if there was a cap on the number of facilities that would be able to be handled by this grid. I believe we asked that question, and we were gonna look into that. Did we get an answer on that, how many, like the cap is that this grid would be able to hold?
Do you want to address that? Because I know it was in the email, but I didn't print it off.
We have documents, we can actually go over it in our presentation.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, she'll address
Do we
it.
have just a quick number, just so it's gonna guide my presentation?
So the substations in the surrounding area, based on the National Grid hosting capacity maps, are maxed out. And that's going to be outlined in this address.
Okay. And for that, if I can
Yep.
hand everyone a presentation. As we're moving forward with these, I know that there's going to be another proposal coming to you, and we're currently dealing with the one at Williams Road, one with the one being put in place on Swan Road. And again, I'm just in opposition for more of these. And I'm sorry that my foam board printer wasn't functioning at 100% this afternoon, so just paper is gonna have to be handed out. I just, as these are going forward and more residents are being solicited to lease their land to more and more solar companies, not just the one here tonight, but from a number of them, I thought that it might be a good idea to show you down the line what the town of Lewiston could look like if this continues. So I took the liberty of just redesigning. You can see the town crest on the front. It has a solar panel on it, which would look right next to the grapes, again, on the town crest. And if you flip to the second page, there's a picture of our cousins that come from Houston every year. They come in the summer because it's substantially cooler than it is in Houston to come and visit their hometown area. And they love being out in the country, as opposed to in downtown Houston where it's 120 degrees in concrete. And the picture there is just from this last summer of my kids holding hands with their cousins and enjoying the town of Lewiston and the rural community. If you flip the next page, what it might look like in a few years from now is the backdrop of solar panels and that same picture and them enjoying the countryside with solar panels in the background. Mrs. Lauer just mentioned how the area east of Porter Center is supposed to be a rural kind of agricultural area. Several of my friends are professional photographers, and twice a year we are contacted to come and use our property and our surrounding property to take professional photographs of families, both in the cherry blossoms, and then this past week with the backdrop of the escarpment as the leaves change color is absolutely stunning. There's one there of my kids in the cherry blossoms in May. And again, I took the liberty of just putting the backdrop of solar panels in there, which really just adds to the family atmosphere, and they're looking forward to that. So maybe if you're interested in booking a mini session, I can get your, there's still plenty of openings to have the backdrops of solar panels there. So if you're looking for that, there's still openings for that. We also mentioned the agritourism. It's a big move this year. My cousin Andrew Nichols, who works, as you know, just down the way here, couldn't be here to speak tonight because he's on the harvester for the grapes that he grows on his farm. But the picture here is of his farm and the pumpkins that they grow on the roadside. If you drive by his farm on Ridge Road, they are out in mid-September, and he sells them there for a few weeks. And they sell out every single year. People stop, and as you mentioned last time, they comment how beautiful the farm is, how beautiful the view is, and how they love coming out there supporting local farmers and their ventures. So it says on the top, visit the beautiful farms of Lewiston, New York. And again, that would be a great campaign poster for him. And on the next page, I took, again, the liberty of over the ridge, looking down towards Swan, just putting in some solar panels off on the bottom there. Because, again, the next proposal that's going to come to you is from a piece of property between Ridge Road and Swan Road, which has already been surveyed by the same company that surveyed for the Swan Road project. So just to see what that would look like and have people appreciate the solar panels off in the distance. Christmas coming up, and again, great photos of my three kids and our 16-year-old Jack Russell Terrier. And in a festive spirit, on the next page, you can see what our Christmas card might look like. That it says, Merry Christmas from Lewiston, New York, with the backdrop of solar panels. Again, they might not be decorated yet for the holidays. Maybe some Christmas lights would make that a little bit more festive. But nothing says, and I'll be sure to get a Christmas card your way for that also. The last page, and it's unfortunate that we're late, that election season is on us and it's actually next Tuesday. But I thought that I would help you out, that if this is something that we're going to move towards, these could be, as I drove past many campaign posters and boards today, this would be a great way that you could use the solar panels for re-election, where it says, re-elect Lewiston Town Board members working for a brighter future. You can use that. That's not something that's copyrighted. You can, by all means, go ahead and use that for yourself. And you wouldn't even need your picture on there, because it would be implied from there. So I guess, again, this seems absurd that these are in here, and yet that's the feeling that a lot of residents have, that if we're moving forward and more and more people are being solicited to give up their land for these industrial power plants, instead of the backdrop of the farm and of the grapes and of the cherry blossoms, this is what it's going to look like. I guess my only question for you is, you've got to be sick of hearing people saying, don't put this in. It's got to be a huge headache, week after week after week, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And all the people here that say we don't want this, they're reasonable people. We haven't heard, and please sell us, why should we support these projects? Why should these people who will have to look at these every day, why should they support them? And we're looking for an answer. Again, reasonable people with a good answer could sway our opinion. But I have not heard one of, you should support this because. Thank you.
Mr. Scott, are you the school teacher?
Pardon me?
Are you the school teacher?
Yes, I am.
Didn't you say the last time you heard you're for solar projects?
I am for solar projects.
Doesn't sound like it.
I'm not for solar projects in a zoned rural
I
agricultural
just want to make that clear.
No, absolutely.
The last time you
And if you'll also recall last time that I said there would be a great place to put it on top of the landfill.
I thought you said by the farm up by the lake, somebody's horse farm, you said.
That would
No,
be another
that's
great
Mr.
spot
And
on
then-
Lake
And
Road.
they would be here complaining to us because, so anywhere but your backyard.
They're also going to be here
Anywhere but your
submitting
backyard.
the next
correct?
proposal. Those same people
Okay.
with that farm on Lake Road are going to be here submitting the proposal for the
Lake
next
Road's
one.
not in the town of Lewiston, so.
Their
Thank you,
property
Mr.
is
Scott.
on Swan Road.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Scott. James Scully?
My name is James Scully. I live at 1822 Swan Road, and Andrew Nichols is my cousin. I would not like any more solar projects approved in this area. I don't like them because they ruin farms. Farms where people grow crops and raise animals. Solar farms don't do either of these. Some of my favorite things to do on days off of school is fixing tractors, tying grapes, and harvesting pumpkins. If more solar farms are approved, I can't do any of these things. When I grow up, I want to work on the farm. I would harvest grapes and cherries and work outside. I don't want to work on a solar farm made of metal and plastic. I hope you consider the next generation of farmers with these proposals. Many of you know and respected my uncle, David Nichols. He would be frustrated if he knew some of you were considering turning these beautiful fields into unsightly industrial power plants.
Thank you, James. Fran Flanagan.
Fran Flanagan, 440 Tuscarora Street, Lewiston, New York. Yeah, I received a letter today about sign placement in the town of Lewiston. I was just wondering why this didn't go out before.
I got one today too. Everybody got
So
one.
everybody got one? So-
Yeah, I believe. I got one.
And the only reason that they were sent out was because we were receiving complaints, not just on yours, but
Yeah.
on a couple of
I got one
people's,
as
so we
well.
sent them out to everybody.
Did you get one?
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's gonna happen? Are they gonna, we gotta move them, take them down, or?
I think it's just a notice. I don't think anybody's specifically going out to pull them up. So I was gonna try and move mine, that's all.
Yeah, or if you can contact the individuals that you know have them on their front yard, just ask them to pull them back so they're not on the
Okay,
town
yeah,
right
because
away.
I just put mine up along where everybody else had theirs, so.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody got one?
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
thanks, Fran. Okay, thank you very much. Department head statements. Donna? No? Dave Train?
I have just one thing, that if I, Modern's our host community, and I'd like to get something started with them about putting in a drainage ditch and pipe. I have an $80,000 total for the drainage ditches along Model City Road. I'd like to have $40,000 from H97 approved to put in a fund so we can start the project.
That's something you talked about, right?
We did,
Okay. So everybody understand, anything we do on Model City Road with Modern is 50/50, according to our contract.
So what I'd like to start to do is I'm gonna start two separate funds, one for us, one for Modern. 40,000 will come from our H97, so what I charge will come out of that, and then I'll set up things for Modern, and we'll buy the pipe and we'll start a project.
This is nothing addition though to what we've already talked about for the last year or so, about improving Model City Road.
We've never budgeted any money for it. We've talked about doing it. This is the first step of a fourth step. We'll do this, then we'll go to Harold Road after this. So we're gonna do this, and then next year, we're gonna mill it, pave it, and then we'll go to Harold Road, and we'll go from there.
Okay. And does anybody want to make that motion?
Second. May I discuss?
Yes, go ahead.
Briefly, money's okay?
Yes, I looked at the budget and we talked about it today. $40,000 is sufficient from H97, which is also used for capital projects and infrastructure, so it follows the guidelines.
Any other questions? Need a motion second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay,
That
thank
it?
you. That's it.
Chief Brevet?
Just to give the board numbers again, their numbers for the month of September. Our calls for service were 1,065, or 35 arrests and 170 traffic tickets issued. That's for September. Also, I'd like to encourage the board as well as everybody else. We're looking for help. Those of you who don't know, if you could go to our Facebook page, Lewiston Police Department Facebook page, there's a competition going on right now for a grant, for a K-9 grant. It's divided up in different regions of the country. I just want to say something about Lewiston and about this area and about the support that we get. If it tells you anything right now, the closest other department to us that's involved in this voting is Buffalo Police Department, and we're almost 800 or 900 votes ahead of them as a city. So we're outperforming city departments that are 10 times our population. I think that speaks volumes as to this community and the support that we get and how everybody is active in this. So having said that, I'd like to encourage you to go to our Facebook page. It's very easy. You can vote right up until Sunday for K-9 Shadow to get that grant. It's $5,000 is first prize, second is $4,000, $3,000, it goes down. We're in first place for our region. I think he is 7th, last time I checked, he was 7th in the whole country as far as top vote getters. That's in California region and everywhere. So
Once a day.
you can vote once every 24 hours. And if you have a couple different email addresses, you can use I vote on my work one, my personal email address as well, which if you have an email address, that's all it asks for you. They don't send you anything as well. So we just ask for your support. Share that if you can. The more times that you like something, if you go on our Facebook page and like it, it supposedly opens it up to more people, more like tickets. I don't know how that works, but even if you can just like it on our Facebook page so it goes out to more people, I'm thrilled. If the voting goes through Sunday, like I said, hopefully we can keep our lead and have a big push in the end, but I think that says something about our town.
It took me a little effort to get it to click on. I was able to put my name in, my email address, but I couldn't get it to scroll down to be able to vote. It took 3 times, but I got it.
Yeah, it's a little tricky
He didn't
sometimes.
hit the I'm not a robot button.
Chief, before you sit down, 2
Yes.
things.
Yes.
How's the feedback been for you stopping vehicles on Center Street and congratulating them for making full stops at the crosswalks?
You beat me to my story because we're not finished with it yet. We have one more phase of that, but it's going pretty well. So we did a blitz, and we're going to be, so those of you that are here will get firsthand that there's another one coming up. We're checking crosswalks on Center Street, and we have been handing out gift cards, $10 gift cards for coffee and stuff. We got some compliance with some of the businesses for people who were actually stopping. We rewarded them with a gift card for actually stopping. It's going fairly well.
The other thing is Saturday, they had the trick or treat on Center Street for the businesses. The street was packed with kids. If we have a situation like this next year, could we get some volunteers to man the crosswalks and help the kids across?
You had two in front of the brickyard.
Yeah, we had 2 officers working that event as well. And the problem is that that's a lot of crosswalks. And I don't know, we can try to get, it's tough to get people to volunteer to stand out there for that long.
Well, the firemen could have volunteers for
Yes.
Halloween night, but maybe I can reach out more.
Yeah.
The kids were extremely enthusiastic and there were huge numbers. It was a very successful, it was a perfect day.
Right. Yeah, we can try.
Councilman Guyman's got the equipment for it, he could probably go out there and do it.
I saw that.
We just came from.
I don't know if anybody will listen to you, Jeffrey, but that's okay.
We just came from the trunk or treat at the Red Brick, and again, lots of.
Yeah, that was busy
enthusiastic
too.
kids. It's a safe place, but that's a good location. We had this year.
Thank you, chief.
Yeah, so get out and vote.
I don't have anything other than,
If you're not a member of Facebook, is there another place that you can go to vote for that K-9 grant?
Yes, go to, I'm sorry, the name of the organization is Aftermath. So it's called Aftermath, and just go to their site, they're the one that funds the service dogs. Thank you.
Aftermath?
Aftermath? Math. Something I don't do very well.
I know Mrs. Carlson was frustrated because she feels like she's not getting any action, but sometimes that's just how it works when it goes through the courts. You know, the process is slow and methodical, and, you know, the Pasquales next door have the right to apply for a variance, which they've elected to do. She will get legal notification, she'll be able to show up at the meeting along with all the other neighbors, voice their opinion. It will be up to the decision of the zoning board whether or not that fence is allowed to stay at the height it is. So I can't really do any more enforcement action, or the court can't do any more enforcement action until they get their hearing on the CBA on the 7th of November, so.
And I've told her numerous times that we had no say, there wasn't a court, so it is frustrating. You know.
Some people don't understand that the zoning board state is an autonomous group.
Correct, yeah.
And their decisions stand alone without this board having the right to override them.
Right. Yeah, and I have no idea how they'll rule on the fence, but if they say no, then he has to cut it down the next day, so.
What is the legal height?
From the front of the house rearward, it can be 6 feet. Front yard, 4 feet. His is approximately 8 feet in the side yard and 5 feet in the front yard.
Am I correct, though, that a neighbor who objects cannot get the project vetoed? They can only provide input.
Correct,
The zoning board stands alone.
correct, yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
And the issue with it, which makes it unique, is the Pasquales put an addition on their house, which moved it over closer to the property line, so there is probably a 2 to 2.5 foot elevation difference between the two parcels, which is why they want the extra height of the fence. So if you're standing on their side, you understand why they want the height. If you're standing on her side, you understand why she doesn't want the height. So I don't know how the zoning board will.
And what was the court ruling?
The court just didn't, it went to court, and they gave them to comply by a certain date. So I went there last Thursday to do an inspection on it to make sure it complied, and it did not, and then that's when they informed me they wanted to apply for a variance.
Okay.
So,
And that's the process?
yeah.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Supervisor Conrad? Nothing? Bob Lehman? Jeff Ritter? Nothing at this time. Nothing at this time. Dan Zano? Nothing. Nothing? Mike Dashna?
I just put some scrap items on your desk here. There are 7 of them. I appreciate a motion to declare them excess equipment so we can get rid of it. Just cleaning out our storage facilities from the summer months.
Make that motion to declare the following items excess equipment. Are you going to scrap them, or you want to put them on to Auctions International?
I've been looking at Auctions International, see if any of these items were listed on there. in any type of condition. I haven't seen anything on there, I don't think they have any value. I'll keep on looking for that. Other than that, we're just gonna take them to scrapyard.
Okay.
The only thing that might have some value that we are definitely probably gonna list is this, is our, the old bleachers from Kiwanis Park. Those are steel, those are heavy. Not sure if they have value to somebody else, but they're wood on top, so current code say you can't use wood in a public space. You can't buy them new at least. You can use them still, but they're kind of grandfathered in. So I'm not really sure if that they'll have value to somebody else or just scrap it.
So you wanna do the 146 all amended?
Sure.
A motion for excess, items for excess, declare them to items 1 through 6.
Second. We have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. And then, we're going to declare 7 as excess equipment to be sold to the scratch.
Do you want to see the value?
Yeah, we're gonna determine the value of that first. We're gonna list that at Auctions International first. Underside the bleachers, see if we get anybody to bid on that. If not, then we'd like to declare it scrap. You know, it's a lot of steel on those.
Motion to place item number 7, the steel frame wood bleachers on Auctions International.
Second.
With motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
And then just a point of information, before we do have some other random pieces of scrap metal that we usually just load into a dump truck, bring to the scrap yard, and process that, and that'll be done as well.
Okay.
Other than that, just an update on the ice rink. We're gonna announce the dates for the ice rink. We're looking at November 22nd being our first day, which is a week before Thanksgiving, and shutting down the same weekend as last year, January 4th. Dates worked out well for us on the revenue side, so we'd like to continue with that unless there's any objections.
Mike, were you able to get your tent repaired?
Oh yeah, tent's all set. So it's only fabric repairs. So the last couple pieces actually, Brett from Paul's Tent has a shop locally that takes care of that for us.
Is he going to put it up for you?
Are
you still deciding?
Yeah, we're kind of still deciding on that, depending on where we're at. We're kind of behind on a few items in the fall. If we need that extra time, if the weather stays like this, we can kind of get caught up pretty quick. But it depends on how, the cost factor of it too. If he volunteers to put it up, absolutely.
There you go.
All right?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think that takes care of the department heads, right? Okay. Approval of the meeting minutes. Donna, you are already.
I said no.
Yeah. Okay.
Motion to approve the minutes for the public hearing work session, October 17th, 2019.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Audit payment, Councilman Jacoby.
I move to approve the regular abstract of claims numbers 2,912 to 3,033. And recommend payment in the amount of $288,891.57, plus a post audit of $43,107.15. Second.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Moved. Thank you. Under old business, maskers with the roof bids and pavilions, I know you said.
I don't have an update.
You don't have an update, okay. Piva Borrego Solar Farm, Williams Road, I know Mark, you're here for a presentation, so I'll let you, take the floor.
Yeah, I can do that, that's fine. We have copies of that map for you guys to take a look at as well.
Okay, that's fine.
I submitted a letter on behalf of Borrego to the supervisor last week. I'm not sure if he shared it with anyone up here. What we tried to do in that letter was address some of the comments that were brought up at the public hearing. Which person?
Either one, they both can look at it while we're talking. We can give you one. Yeah.
That's fine, thank you.
So I can go through this letter point by point if you'd like. One of the big issues was national grid capacity. And as you know, there are at least 3 community solar projects that have come before the board for approval. And
Try to talk to them, so, because we can follow along on the page.
All right.
Actually, talking to the mic too.
Yeah, that's what I was at.
Yeah.
Excuse me, is that mic on?
hear me?
We can't hear
Doesn't seem real loud.
There are seats up front if you'd like to move up front to be heard.
You gave me such a nice chair, I wanted to take advantage of it.
Understandable.
All right. Well, we submitted this letter
Walking outside.
to Supervisor Broderick to try to address, in an attempt to try to address some of the points that were brought up at the public hearing. One of the key issues early on was the national grid capacity. And as you know, there are at least 3 community solar projects that have come before the town board for approval, and a 4th is being considered. During the Swan Road public hearings, it was indicated there was only capacity in the existing Swan Road substation for 1 to 2 more solar projects to come online. And Borrego project developer Lindsay McIntyre was asked by you and the board to look into further how many more potential solar developments the town might expect, and attached is a map and information Ms. McIntyre was able to glean from National Grid. That is also an 11 by 17 handout. Is a larger version of it. It's this page here. The key concern is the 105 Swan Road site. That queue is over capacity, which means there will be dropouts.
And the circuit, Mark, coming into Lewiston, that's our project for Swan, our Williams Road project. And then a potential 3rd site that we haven't heard back from National Grid on. We don't have approval for that, but we submitted to see what would happen. That sub is far over capacity though, and with additional sites up in the town of Porter. So the circuit coming into Lewiston is fully maxed out, and the circuit going into Porter is fully maxed out.
But we need to know if National Grid has plans to update those.
It was updated for Swan Road. Any further updates to the circuit going into Lewiston will not occur. And that's the feedback they've given us on our projects. So there's one circuit coming down into Lewiston off of that substation, which is what we're interconnecting to on Swan Road and Williams Road, and no further upgrades on that.
So that's something, if we want that in writing, we have to reach out to National Grid.
That's probably something that we could provide, especially when we get their feedback for this potential 3rd project. So.
Now, one of the other sites that you've approved is on Moore Road. That Moore Road site, we refer to it on this slide as the Oya project. Lindsay refers to it as the Oya project. That ties into the substation in this, is it the village of Ransomville, or there's a substation right near the 4 corners of Ransomville that ties into.
So how much more can that one take?
That one is mapped, based on their mapping, that substation is maxed out. And then there are 3 small so that's one of 3 of the smaller substations in Lewiston. So on the western side of the town, 87 Lewiston Heights and 86 Lewiston Heights, and the KV rating of those substations is too low for a large solar company to even consider. It's a 4.6 kV line. We would only ever consider 13.2, and that's